Please welcome Amanda Keller.
Yay!
Hello. Hey, before we get into the detail of this, was Jonesy devastated to find out that Anita's your best friend?
Look, there have been times when I've said to him, we've been together 18 years, but maybe we need to see other people. And this was one of those times.
Oh.
You know, I love you, I'm not in love with you. We've had that conversation.
Oh.
So he was gutted, but hey, get over it.
Okay.
But seriously, Amanda, how did you break it to him?
We've done a radio show together for 18 years, but there did come a time when, you know, there are some topics that on breakfast radio you want to sink your teeth into, or some topics that Jonesy wasn't particularly interested in, and I started to think maybe those could be a little side project. So that's kind of how this started. And my friend Anita is a forensic psychologist, so I've got the frou-frou media job. And I thought that would just make it an interesting podcast, and she could bring an interesting spin to it that you don't often hear in the media, maybe.
Now, the first step is about getting addicted to romance novels because you can get your fix on something romantic and raunchy, which that's very exciting, isn't it? Amanda, how does your husband feel about that?
Well, look, this actually came about because I'd read an article in the New York Times about a new bookshop in New York called the Ripped Bodice. And it was a bookshop that was just selling romance books, which is the only really growing genre of fiction at the moment. When you look at so many of the new shows that are also based on those books, the Twilight series, I think Yellowstone, it's a cowboy romance, that suddenly we're owning our love of this romance. But Anita knew of an addiction psychiatrist who treated people for addictions for gambling or sex or alcohol, but she didn't realise that she had her own addiction to vampire novels. Her gateway novel was Twilight, and she found that she was many people's first one. But she was travelling the world speaking at symposiums, and she once missed her slot because she was reading this in a hotel room, and she realised that she had an addiction. She had all the characteristics of an addiction. So sometimes these addictions aren't what we think they are. It's that, but needing that bigger dopamine hit, and when it stops being helpful in your life and starts to take over, that's an addiction.
Oh, well, speaking of the raunchy novels, you talk about Outlander quite a bit, which is also like a very horny Netflix series.
Wow, that
Hang on. Amanda, just have a guess on this panel, who has watched Outlander and loved it the most?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's between you and Georgie.
Oh.
No, you're wrong. It's
I'm thinking, is it you, Kate?
Go down the other end of the desk, loved
Is
one.
it Sam?
Yes, guilty. What, a bit of time travelling, you know, Scottish kilt. What's not to like?
Isn't it great?
What's not to like?
I got into it like 10 years too late. Only recently. I had the house to myself for a weekend. I thought I'll watch an episode. I watched the entire series. I ate my meals off a stable table. I didn't leave it. And I had a drool sponge strapped to my chin. It was horrific.
Well,
I can't wait.
We did manage to find these shots of you, Amanda, right here. Now, is this a healthy addiction? Let's be honest. Look at this. Look at that.
Are these framed in your house somewhere, Amanda?
Oh, it's displayed on my phone. It's my new wallpaper. Absolutely it is.
Now, last time your radio mate Jonesy was here, he did say, though, that you do all the work and he slacks off. What is Anita going to be telling us?
Well, what a relief. Now I can put my feet on the desk and be in the bimbo seat like Jonesy is. I think I'll put Anita to work. She's got the grown-up job. She can do all of that, and I'll just do the frou-frou.
Yeah.
Excellent plan.
It's serious frou-frou.
Bodice ripper.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh.
You know that bookshop ripped bodice. Remember, Taunton was telling us about his favourite bookshop before the show.
What was it?
It's called Stained Jocks.
Yeah, great.
Sorry, Amanda.
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Amanda.
What a cold spoon on my addiction.
We didn't have to make it that serious.
Cold spoon on the stable table.
Oh dear. Episode 1 of A Chattery is out now. You can listen free of charge on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts. Amanda Keller, what a delight.
Thank you so much for having me.